All right, it's Tuesday, the club going up. I was at the Celtics game last night watching the Garden get deflated back-to-back nights, I swear. Something in Boston is cursed right now between them and the Bruins. We'll catch up on the playoffs. We got some fun conference finals here starting to brew. And of course, my road to 150 live stream drafts is going to continue. Andy, Clay, and myself will be hopping in a BBM4 draft. Number 6 for me, all today on the club. All right, guys. How are you? Because you guys are NBA bros, but we do have Ball Mania open. Do you feel like you're juggling a lot of balls in the air? Do you feel like you got too much going on? Can you devote proper attention to NBA with Ball Mania season here? No?
I think that I'm a bit in my element right now, if I'm being honest. But so like with playoff basketball, it's not quite as much like, I don't know, like doing like those dailies and filling them, like there's really not very much that's changing day to day. Like I don't think it takes that much time, honestly. Like maybe it's taking like an hour of my day, but like only half paying attention, where basically projections go in the morning, and like today you're kind of monitoring, is Jimmy Butler going to play? Is Julius Randle going to play? But like everything's relatively locked in, and there's only 2 games, so like there's not that much going on. And so I've more so been just watching basketball, but definitely been having fun consuming the BBM4 content now that it's coming out.
Yeah. What about you, Clay? Are you still watching a bunch of hoops?
Yeah, watching all the hoops I could possibly manage. My success rate for staying up for late games is still holding strong, although I've fallen victim a couple times since our last club to the late night East Coast action. Hardest part for me is honestly, like, I did a good job of kind of trying to keep my head down leading up to draft season, just because I didn't want to like just ape in too hardcore when this tournament dropped. So I'm trying to pace myself. I did pretty good. I made it until I think Sunday was my first draft. I've done maybe like 5 since then. And trying to like tell myself like, all right, if you get on the Peloton for 45, like that's a good reason to bang out a draft. Incentivize myself with some positive habit stacking. But yeah, I don't know. It's a challenge, and I want to hopefully after the club, my goal today is to hold out until the schedule is released, unless I'm just need to incentivize myself to get a ride in. But yeah. I think pacing is the name of the game here. I got to definitely have some discipline. So it's that give and take, like in all of our Discord streets, it's just, you have FOMO. I want to hop in. I want to get in all the drafts with all the homies, but I also need to have that positive pushback where it's like, nah, you know what? Like, let's pump the brakes here and ride out a nice summer.
There you go. I am noticing it seems like all the Sixers fans just happen to come out of the woodwork here. We got Gypsy, Sixers and 6, Sam Berman, Underdog Bro, noted Philly fan there. We got C-Rock saying, thanks for bringing the Sixers home. A win last night, Pete. I mean, it was wild to watch. And I'm curious for you guys who watch more basketball than me, like it did feel like the Sixers were playing almost more like Moneyball style, just a bunch of threes, playing super fast in like a way that they wouldn't otherwise play with Embiid. And they just, I mean, you can complain about the Celtics defense, which was non-existent, but like they were like a running gun team in a way I don't think they normally are.
Yeah, I love it. I've been, Mike Gallagher at ETR, his matches has just been crushing it in the playoffs in particular. And he wrote a lot about how like the pace was going to change a lot with the games, the series advancing for the Celtics in particular, having to try to defend a whole different kind of team style. And obviously Embiid getting, ruled out for game 1 was just like changed everything again. I think it went from being like a spot where people talk about Horford being more involved to Embiid changes that dynamic a ton. So there's a lot of involvement in this series as well, which I think is like obviously not fun. The injuries suck as a whole, but there is more like to stay on top of. There's more to kind of like stay like paying attention for, because usually you get these series, right? Game 1 is where there's theoretically the most edge when you're playing these like tournaments or playing DFS, and you try to lean on people who have like the understanding of how the rotations will change and such, because then once you're into it, unless like a team needs to make an adjustment, you're kind of locked into that being the set for the series. So injuries do change that dynamic. But yeah, I thought Philly leaned into it. There was a lot of talk about the 3-ball. I love Maxey, so it's a fun spot for him. And god damn it, we got a vintage Harden game my guy, man. That was you saw that fit he wore into the arena. That was a big topic of Twitter
it was
last night. It
amazing.
was like if you're gonna wear those pants, you got to ball out her 45 plus and go home. So that was pretty funny. And was it last night or was it a couple nights ago? There was a really hilarious. It might have been 2 nights ago. With the Warriors game. Yeah, I think it was because Shaq gave this like great breakdown of like what he said needed to happen in order for the game to continue on or to close out the series. And it was like a perfect tee up for that. So I'm loving it. I love the involvement through the series and matchups. I'm so hyped for Lakers Warriors tonight.
Yeah. The other thing that was crazy about that game last night is, my new house is further out of the city than it used to be. It took me a long time to drive in, park, walk to the stadium. I was like home by like 11 p.m. That game went by so fast. There were so few stoppages in time. There wasn't a bunch of fouls and stuff, not a bunch of reviews. I was like, holy cow, that game just flew by.
I had the same experience at home. I was trying to pay attention to the end so I could go back and watch on the TV. And I got a text like, yo, game's getting crazy. I went and pulled up 5 minutes later on the TV and it was like fucking over. Like I missed the last like little bit, which is unfortunate. But I felt it went by quick because I was trying to time it with my night last night.
Yeah, I feel like basketball games in general are pretty fast, which is nice. Especially when you're in person. Like when you're in person at a game, they fly by. Like all of a sudden you're sitting there, you like sit down, the game starts, you have a beer, have some popcorn, and you're like, oh, it's halftime. Like I don't know what just happened, but Red Panda's performing. And then
it's probably because I showed up like right when the game started too. Like I got to my seats right at tip off, so I had like no fat in my schedule there. But yeah, it was fun to go to the Garden. I mean, I was thinking, well, one, I wanted to watch Embiid play, so I was bummed. But then 2, I'm like, well, at least Boston will take care of business and the atmosphere will be electric. And it was like, no, it was just like anytime the Celtics went on the run, it'd just be Harden just nailing a step back 3 in somebody's face and then just redeflating the crowd. And you could just like feel the energy in the arena of like, holy shit, the Bruins just choked the night before. And do you think there is an element to like the Celtics being like, maybe getting a little too relaxed in that like, hey, the Bucks aren't here to be a roadblock. The Sixers are our main competition and they don't have their best player. Like we can just waltz to a victory. Do you think there's an element to that?
You could draw parallels.
It seems like they're coasting a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even the end of the Hawks series, like, I don't know, it wasn't like they were overly impressive in that series. And
wasn't a great sign.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking hoops, I should point out our guy, Jack Settleman, did get you guys a special up here on Underdog today. Site-wide special. You can take the higher or lower half points here on RJ Barrett. I think I already used mine on a hockey pick'em slip from my guy, DJ Mitchell here. But if you guys are in the pick'em lobby, you can get a freebie here with RJ Barrett. Do you have a lean, Andy and Clay, on this? Do you like the higher or the lower here?
I think you got to go over. It's going to be close, but I think you got to roll for the over. Dude, I've got to say, in the dailies today for Underdog with RJ, he's been going high. I've seen him go like 4th pick overall for the dailies today, which is
wow,
too rich for my blood. I'll see you, Clay. Clay got really upset by that.
You know what? I was, we are going to draft a BBM team, but I do want to do one of the what? Oh, did I just drop? Where'd you go, Clay?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong. I have a bunch of new scenes in my StreamYard for drafting, and I was on a 2-person. My bad, Clay.
No, you good.
I do want to do one of those winner take all, but before we do that and start doing some drafting, I want to talk about this Dillon Brooks stuff. Someone explain to me what happened with Dillon Brooks, because all I saw is he's just been banished. Like what?
So basically, like, did you follow the drama in general around it of like him shit talk? So he was shit talking LeBron, shit talking everyone, whatever. He like refused any media availability the last 2 games, or like the games where they got beat pretty badly. He was fined like $25,000 for that, and basically is like universally hated in the NBA. Not even just like by the teams that play against him. I would say the average Grizzlies fan also hates him.
Is he like a dirty player, or he just has like a shitty personality?
He's a dirty player, shitty personality, talks a lot of shit, but he's not that good.
He does like Draymond antics, but without the ring caliber or without like the credibility from being like, you know, LeBron's boy and having a media personality podcast and stuff. He's like, he's like a Draymond that can't back it up at all.
Yeah.
And yeah,
and so he basically became like universally hated to the point where I feel like I legitimately think the way that between all the John Morant stuff and then primarily him, I think that the Grizzlies were like by far the team everyone was rooting against the most in the first round of the playoffs, which is just like really funny because prior to this season, they were a very likable, you know, like young up and coming team. And so with all that said, basically the Grizzlies announced today or said to him, and it got leaked, that under no circumstances will they re-sign him. He's a free agent this year. And they basically said there's just no world where we will re-sign him.
That's incredible. And I assume he had as a free agent, he had zero trade value anyway. So they're just like, we're just completely moving on.
I think they thought that he's like a fine contributing role player. That's not even true. He's not very good. He's a decent defender, but he shoots the ball way too much. And like basically when he gets the ball, he's going to be shooting it and he's not a good shooter. So he kind of is like a bit of an offense stopper, but he's like a role player, you know, probably on any team in the NBA, he would see some minutes. But
he could make a
I
roster.
think they were hoping that he could be, he would definitely make a roster. But I think like they were hoping that he would be a contributor in these playoffs, and he seemingly like got worse as the season went on. Like as they got to the playoffs and stuff, he just like started talking more and more shit and all this. And so I don't really know, but
yeah,
it couldn't have played out for him any worse, to be honest, with like how much shit he talked, and then for how little him in particular, but the team was unable to back it up, and he was a liability on defense. Where it's like he poked the bear, and the bear fucking swatted his ass. And like, it's just, what are you going to do in that standpoint? Like, the team was just like, you know, you're making this so much more difficult than it has to be. I got to imagine is like part of the thought there. It's crazy, man. It's just like the situations in the NBA with like making it on a team and finding a footing. You see guys who are maybe at like league average sort of talent have a 12-year career on a team, and then guys who are above league average of talent last 2 seasons because they didn't find the right fit on the right team. And then it's a very quick, like you're out of the kind of cycle because there's enough new guys coming in every year and enough new talent, and the rosters are small, where it's really incredible like how little it takes. So I would be a little surprised. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not gonna be on an NBA team next year because that seems a little crazy, but he's definitely got a big Scarlet A, the right kind of reference there. I don't know. I don't think teams are looking to pick him up. Yeah, because like it's just I don't know, not a good look from the locker room standpoint. It'd be hard pressed to find a team that would be like, come hang out with us.
What I'm hearing from you guys now, just hearing like the Cliff's notes on this situation, it seems like he should go the Draymond podcast route, right? Like if you're going to talk all this shit, get this on camera, think about the views, you get the TikTok clips going. I bet he could have a pretty spicy podcast.
Yeah, it's like the guy that talks shit online that doesn't show up to back it up kind of vibe. Like, but the problem is like I don't know if he'll do that because it's like he wasn't committed. He wasn't committed enough to like follow it up the next game and stand there and take a question about calling LeBron out and saying the quote of it was like he was like, I don't respect anyone that doesn't put a 40 piece on my head, and they got beat by 40. That's insane. Insane shit.
Peter Jennings not in the club today, but I did have to pull up this tweet yesterday from Ashley, which was so good. My husband, CSU Ram 88, just informed me that he's leaving our house for the 8 p.m. Nuggets game at 2 p.m. to quote unquote beat traffic. What do we think he's really doing here? All the Memphis Grizzlies talk made me think about Pete maybe swinging by Shotgun Willie's, John Morant's old stopping grounds here on the way to the game. But nice to see Pete, even with 2 little ones, is managing to get a 6-hour pregame in here for the Nuggets game.
One of a kind. I respect it though. Hey, that Denver traffic, man.
You gotta do. Yeah, I've heard that Denver is just some of the worst traffic in the world. You're gonna need like 5 hours plus.
They call it Atlanta West, you know?
Well, was it the last time Pete was telling us about his experience at a Nuggets game? And I did just hop in a heat check here to try to win 8K. I need the Chipsy, luck here. Pete said he was playing dice last time he was at the Nuggets game. So maybe he just had to get there for a 6-hour dice game. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Donovan saying CSU Ram can't show his face on Embiid Day. I'm sure that's what he's dodging us.
I heard he was going back to the mountains to go to Deez's Glass Guy pregame and really be in the clouds courtside.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Andy, you were saying, so I see RJ Barrett here, what, like 10th in the rankings, but you're saying some people are steaming him up to like 3-4?
Yeah, well, so the rankings are a bit weird on days like this.
Yeah,
There's no ADP. So the rankings are literally just whoever Underdog is using as their data provider for projections, which like really, really fucks with a lot of stuff as far as like casual players goes. It's like actually a pretty big variable. Because you do not know what the I don't know.
I love it.
Interesting.
I think that they think there'd be too many dupes on these smaller slates if they had ADP is my guess. But I think the right thing here is to take James for sure. And then basically Jimmy Butler legitimately sprained his ankle. But I think he's going to play. And so you basically take either Brunson or Jimmy as the second pick. Brunson is
LeBron,
a
though?
tag. Yeah, you definitely take LeBron.
Yeah, definitely LeBron. Yeah.
And then you skip Butler.
So I've been taking Butler in the heat check. I think it's like a good like risk-adjusted bet. But the other fun thing you can do is take Brunson and hope that Butler slips, but he probably won't.
What do you recommend?
Brunson's more bankable, has great. I'm in Brunson in this situation. I think the Jimmy ankle is scary. Like I think he plays, but I think
I've been
he's
drafting
limited
Jimmy
at best
every time.
All right, let's do Jimmy. All right,
I think it's the higher upside thing.
That's what we need here. We need the upside. Got to finish first. It's all super smooth payout structure. $8,000.80.
It doesn't feel bad at all when you finish top 5 in this tournament. It's totally chill. It's really nice.
How many times has that happened to you, Andy?
Only once so far. I finished third once.
Okay. Was it the night that Gypsy won?
No, it wasn't. I don't remember who won the night that I finished third.
My bounces down bad. I need to win some.
So yeah, this is where things are like really interesting. There's like this weird middle jumble of people. Like I said, Barrett's been going around here. I'm not necessarily drafting him here, but I don't think it's like the wrong thing to do. He's been really hot, and so it's kind of like a do you think Barrett will stay hot thing.
You also don't have Steph or Clay, so you can kind of make a game theory argument that if you go like Wiggins and then one of Looney and Draymond, it's nice to get in that game environment. Warriors high upside players are locked in for minutes.
Yeah, if it was me doing this draft, I would be taking Wiggins and Looney.
Okay.
Yeah, I co-sign that. You got Wiggins, so that's who I would take.
Has Looney? Because I've heard this a bit now. Is Looney like eclipsed Draymond as a fantasy asset?
Yeah, well, because he gets 20 rebounds a game now. It's crazy.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
The single most guy that everyone who drafted the dance teams wish they had drafted more of, because I don't think hardly anyone did for most of the dance.
Yes, we are going to hop into Best Ball Mania 4 draft immediately following this, but I just had to get my my NBA fix in for the night. You know, you got the NBA thought leaders with you. And this is the way I get to draft a team with some hand holding, which is how I like it.
Let us cross our fingers here. There's a pick that I'm going to bang the table for after Andy gives his thoughts.
Is it Austin Reeves?
But it's fucking Austin Reeves.
I think Austin Reeves is the right person to take. And then I would probably take one of Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson. At this exact moment, I have Robinson 0.3 points higher than Hart. So you can really take whichever one you feel better about. But
Clay, do you have a tiebreaker between Hart
and Robinson? It's a coin flip.
Yeah,
Hart, man, it's just so hard to tell when he's going to have a game that presents a ceiling. Gallagher is really into him today from a matchup standpoint, but then again, matchup doesn't mean a lot when you're not producing on offense. Mitchell, you worry about foul trouble. It's 50-50. I think go with your gut. I would maybe, yeah.
All right. Good. My gut says more people are selecting Hart because he's ahead in there, so maybe there's a little less Robinson. All right.
I like it.
The time has come. Fellas, you guys ready to try to hop in a draft here?
Ready.
Let's do it.
All right, I just entered.
Cool.
I just entered. There's like 5 spots, so you should be good.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. For those of you guys who haven't been watching my other streams and are just club viewers exclusively, I am, of course, on a journey to live stream all 150 of my Best Ball Mania 4 drafts. As you can see below, this is number 6 in the books. I have a playlist on my YouTube channel where I put every video of those streams in there. So excited to draft with you guys. Although, Andy, you're really kind of, tripping over my 101 bit here, stealing my influencer status.
Ooh, this is my second 101.
Wow. Who did you take the first time with the 101?
Jefferson.
Okay.
Is there a consensus that maybe that's not the person to take?
No, I think it is. I've heard some people say that they really like Chase. I mean, I love Chase
I'm
too,
Chase.
but my thought is if you take Chase at
Chase.
101, then you're never going to have any Jefferson, and I don't think you want to have zero Jefferson.
Yeah,
That's the argument against it.
I like Jefferson because I feel like it's super cozy not taking Dalvin Cook and taking Alexander Madison instead because of all these trade rumors.
Yeah.
And so it kind of sets you up really nicely for like a zero RB kind of thing that's going on. But
yeah.
I like Chase, honestly, just because of Burrow. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but it's like Kirk Cousins, Burrow. I just think we're waiting on Jamar. And also, Jefferson was kind of like number one last season. I kind of play into the narrative that, Jamar thinks he's the number one wide receiver and has something to prove as well. AJ Brown at 3 is a little spicy, but I like it.
Wow. Yeah, I have not seen that. I'll go ahead and take
I have not seen that either.
Tyreek Hill here. The other day I did take Kelsey at 5. I'll definitely be kind of mixing this up in this range, but I don't think I've selected Tyreek Hill yet, so we'll grab a share of him.
I haven't had any of that middle. I've only had first and then like super late in the draft. So I've had a couple like 9s, 2 12s, and 2 1s.
Okay.
And then like maybe an 8 or something. And so I had like earlier today I had like an AJ Brown at 9 and then took like Jalen Hurts coming back. And honestly, it didn't feel very good. I'm not sure it was my favorite draft. We'll see. The Eagles are tough.
Are you taking
almost never going to get
Bijan Robinson at 8
and Hurts and
so right now I do have the ETR ranks loaded up just because I wanted to see them. Yeah, I've been mixing up. I took Adams ahead of him in one draft. And I took Bijan ahead of him earlier today, so I don't have a strong take yet.
I don't have a single share, and like I struggle at 8, but it's like let's live a little. I'm gonna do it. It just 8 feels so gross, but I'm not as like I like Diggs above Adams. I have a share of Diggs already. I don't have any Bijan. I think I'm gonna struggle to draft him if he goes any higher for sure. I think he's kind of locked in and not really going higher than 7 or 8. So then how far would he fall? But I don't see. It seems the consensus is like you're not gonna get him much later than the first turn, if that.
The thing about Bijan is like I'm just not going to be surprised if he's a consensus top 5 pick from like July on,
Really?
And so
okay, makes you feel better.
Yeah. Obviously, the AJ Brown thing messes this up a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see like the top 5 solidify as Jefferson, Chase, CMC, Kupp, and Bijan. I could see that happening. Yeah. Chat here, taking him as high as 4. Vapor could see him 4 or 5. And then Nick on the flip side says he's seen him fall into pick 12. So yeah, I mean, I think he's an auto click at the back end around 1, just knowing the combos you're going to get with Bijan right now. Like you want to mix and match those right now as much as you can, because it'll be harder to get Bijan with like a Devontae Adams potentially, or a CeeDee Lamb pairing as the summer goes on.
Yep, I agree with all that. I feel like for me, especially the early, even pre-draft, like I'm just really trying to view this from like an opportunity cost lens, and it's really giving me even more. Not that I've drank so much zero RB Kool-Aid over the last 2 years plus years at this point. I don't need a lot more arm twisting to go that route, but it does feel so much more comfy drafting the stud receivers than any running back up here for me. Like even Pollard, as much as I love Pollard, like I'm struggling to draft him at round 2 because like part of me just feels like the Cowboys are going to potentially bring in another running back, or who knows? Or like, I mean, I know he survived the draft, but I don't know, man. I could just like feel like you could poke holes more so than any year in every single running back in the first.
You're not a Deuce Vaughn believer?
Yeah, I was going to say, you're worried about Deuce Vaughn, bro?
I don't know. It's a great story, but like how much do like part of it? I think it's like a wonderful draft moment, but I'm not like locked and loaded on him being RB2. Like who knows, man? I don't know. Like unless Jerry Jones really does value that, which I'm not saying he doesn't. I don't know. I get it. You can make bull cases for everyone. I guess I'm in the years past where I would be like, oh yeah, I love like Tony Pollard in like round 2. I guess I'm trying not to do that this year. Maybe I'm also still trying to talk myself into not doing it.
So this is where I always feel really gross, where it's like I have Justin Jefferson and everyone's just been drafting wide receivers, and it's like, do I really want the number 2 receiver on Philadelphia or Cincinnati versus like some of these running backs? And it always makes things tough for me.
Yeah, it is like the whole round 3 right now is just loaded with those running backs. I mean, Pollard, Stevenson, Chubb, Jacobs, ETN. It is a very nice range. Breece Hall, though, my kind of take on him right now is that I think you're going to be able to get him a little cheaper as the summer goes along. So I've been not pulling the trigger on him as much as I would like to.
And why do you think that is? I'm going to try something new here. I haven't done this.
So there's 2 things. The most recent
baby.
thing is that the Jets were like legit considering Jahmyr Gibbs, apparently, which tells me that the team doesn't feel good about Breece Hall's timeline return, or that they just want another complimentary back. I mean, the thing that's so weird about it is like Michael Carter got dusted last year. They were playing Zonovan Knight over him. You know, they bring in James Robinson trying to find another body. He couldn't even sniff the field. It really does seem like they want to establish it. I'm going to go ahead and take, you know what? I don't think I feel like I just want to live a little. I want to take Ramondre. No, we'll do Jacobs. Jacobs, Pollard, Tyreek Hill. So that, Andy, and I just think like if we start to get he might not be ready for week 1 stuff, like drafters will start to just like slowly push him down. And I'm going to get my exposure regardless, but I just think I'm going to be able to get like late round 3, early round 4 instead of like 2-3 turn Breece Hall.
Yeah, I feel like the Jets offense is so interesting in general.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I haven't really drafted them at all so far.
I do think, like, trust me, I'm still a piss boy at heart. Like this Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Devonta Smith start is hot for sure. But like the way Andy and I right now have our draft, like at least I think acknowledges like the pockets of the draft where it's like there's a cliff after elite wide receiver. And then in this 2-3 range, like the running backs definitely seem like the sweet spot there. Clay, you pull the trigger on Lamar at 32. I don't mind it, but what's the thought?
Yeah, I mean, I'm bullish on Lamar. I really liked Norris and Hayden's QB rankings piece they put out recently. I thought they had made a really nice bull case for Lamar. It's kind of fun to think about him wanting to go out and have a big year coming off the contract and everything last year. They're putting weapons around him, which is exciting. And I really am thinking about draft strategy right now, especially this early on, being, elite QB matters a hell of a lot more from what we've seen from the data and the small sample size from the last 2 years. So I'm buying into that kind of metric, and allows me to, I can put more draft capital towards running backs and wide receivers going forward, kind of stick with 2 QBs, which I've been liking those builds as well. So checks a lot of boxes for me. Don't mind the value. Wasn't in love with anything around there except for Ramondre, and I'm pretty high on Calvin Ridley, who just went. Love the upside for him. So he's been I'll take him early in round, like not early in round 3, but fairly early ahead of ADP later in round 3. I like that a lot, and in round 4 every day.
Yeah, and sometimes like I think if you sit on it a little bit, I bet there'll be a decent amount of like Lamar, Mark Andrews teams that you're able to get around the 3-4 turn.
Yeah. I'm going to go another thing here too, because I'm just not as high on it's hard for me to draft Mike Dubb. It's hard for me to draft D-Hop. I like Kirk, but, got more competition this year. I'm going to kind of live it a little with these rookie running backs. Let's go Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, it's spicy. I think I mentioned it on another stream. Sean Siegel, the Zero RB godfather himself, like he thinks Jahmyr Gibbs is a 3rd round value. So it's spicy
and
here.
now I'm making a bet on the Lions. I got Amon-Ra and Gibbs. So
yeah, let's see. I feel good doing a Lions start. I haven't reached that much for Gibbs, but I've taken him in that basically at ADP range and feel pretty good about it.
That's where that was at. That was 2 picks before his technical ADP.
I've gotten comments on multiple streams where they're like, Pete, you're just passing over TJ Hawkinson. What about TJ Hawkinson? Well, I'm tossing a bone to the Hawkinson slappies today. Just took him at
The
pick
Hawkinson's
44.
got a big crew, kind of
They apparently
hammered him. I didn't know
apparently.
that.
Yeah. Now Andy and I can wrestle over Kirk Cousins for our Minnesota stacks.
Yeah. Oh God, I
sounds
really hate
cute.
how my team is coming along. So I've got that going for me.
It is fun to draft this year, feeling like I know Andy's on the clock, so I'll wait till he makes these picks.
Oh, that's all right.
So you can talk us through them. Talk us through your thoughts, Andy.
I'm just trying to figure out who the fuck my quarterbacks are going to be. And so I'm generally trying to keep some optionality open there. So like,
I like the Watson pick
for fun. And I think I'm setting myself up for 3 QBs with a little mostly going cheaper on the 3 QBs is kind of where I'm leaning. I've been doing a lot of 2 QB.
Yeah.
And so when I do that, I like to get someone who I feel really good about. And so I was basically debating there, do I take Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence? Do I take Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert? But that didn't feel fun. I think I'd rather try to go and go 3 QBs and stretch this out a little bit.
Yeah.
I love F1.
Yeah.
One of my favorite clicks right now.
I mean, I love Terry McLaurin as a player.
It's part of my Sam Howell love too, which I know I love hearing. Pete, I've been hearing you talk a lot about Sam Howell on your stream so far, even though our boy Pat is not drinking the Sam Howell Kool-Aid with us. But yeah, I just think that his upside, McLaurin's, is like a lot more exciting than years past. Like Sam Howell's a fun quarterback to watch sling the ball.
He is.
I'm wheels up on F1 this year in the 5th round. Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if I regret my 2v2 here. I took Christian Kirk. I was going to select Keenan Allen if he fell, but George Kittle was still on the board. I probably prefer the DJ Moore, George Kittle 2v2 versus Hawkinson, Christian Kirk, but we're learning.
I'm taking Kittle if Jimmy's
folks.
doesn't here, and they have a tight end already, so we'll see if they don't double up. Anything's possible. I was going to go Kirk if he fell.
Vapor wants to know how many BBMs you guys have done.
This is my 8th.
5th for Clay.
They're watching the stream.
Wow, Jimmy's just double tap tight end. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That just can't be the right thing to do when you have Travis Kelce.
I don't think it's the right thing to do.
All right, I'm reaching a little bit here, but this is one of my player takes right now. I like Pierce a lot.
Okay.
He fits my running back check marks for upside. I just want young legs at running back unless it's like last round.
What's his ADP right now? So yeah, you just took him a few
56.
picks.
He's not making it back to me, I don't think. I would be shocked. I could have got a little bit of value, but I'm not in love with other clicks there, and I just feel like the opportunity cost is so high. Like, what am I going to like more, taking Chris Godwin there or Pierce? And I like Pierce. And I'll just, a few less running backs I'll draft.
Yeah. I've been watching too much Succession. When I hear Pierce, and I think of Succession over Damian Pierce right now.
How good is this season?
Dude, it's been awesome. Do you watch it, Andy?
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. I was like last week's episode, or there was one that was like a little bit slower. I think it was the episode after spoilers, the Logan thing. I don't know. I try to be respectful if people are like 4 episodes behind. But man, like the trip over abroad to Madsen, and then this past episode, like back in LA, like it's just firing on all cylinders.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. I actually love that episode because I love the way it was shot, where they did it like almost like the one take, like point of view style. And they followed them throughout the ship of where Connor's wedding was. I thought that the cinematography on that episode. Also, I'd taken an edible before it, so maybe that was part of it too. But it was fantastic. It was quite the experience.
Even like the relationship stuff that they're starting to flesh out with Tom and Shiv. There's like so much fucking depth to that relationship.
Bringing that back. Totally.
And like
Tom is like coming around for me
about money, like the most honest thing he's ever said. It was like, holy shit, that hit hard. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
Let's see here. This is an interesting range. Man, DeAndre Swift available here potentially. I also don't mind.
How do you
Chris
feel about
Godwin.
the whole Swift and Rashad Penny situation?
I wrote about this for the Fantasy Life newsletter on Monday. I like both of them at their prices.
Me too. I think they're both going to see a lot of playing time, and also like at the same time, I can see even.
Yeah, I think normally, man, I do want to take Swift here, but I am behind the 8 ball at wide receiver with the second running back and the tight end pick. So I want to keep recovering. I'm going to go ahead and just grab Godwin. But yeah, both Swift and Penny, I like a lot.
All right.
What's Jordan Addison's profile like? He's coming in. They shipped Thielen. We got KJ Osborne still there. I don't even know what his draft profile is like. Are people excited about him in a Minnesota offense?
I think the thing is, it's actually a pretty good landing spot. He's never going to get like double coverage. We know that Kirk Cousins will push the ball down the field. I think it's just a little bit less exciting because you know there's zero path to him being the alpha in that offense. So like he's forever going to be capped, but I still think he can be a pretty exciting fantasy asset. I like the Pickens pick fair. There, Andy.
I think I might get a little spicy and just go. God, I hate being back to back. It's like, yeah, you can like reach for your guys and do all that, but kind of forces you to reach a little bit in situations. Like I don't feel good about that, but I'm not getting him otherwise. Yeah.
I don't mind it.
So basically I was deciding there between, do I take Deontay Johnson, Jawan Dotson, or Addison to get two wide receivers from the same team on one of these teams.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. So knowing, Dotson and Addison aren't coming back.
Yeah. I don't think Deontay Johnson, Dotson, or Addison were going to be there next time I picked.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel great, but
trust me, I know what not feeling great about your stacks. I just took Godwin and Evans, so trust me, I get it.
Yeah, you drafted Baker Mayfield, or
my fun shaking and baking.
Yeah, we shall see. I mentioned this on Best Ball Breakfast because I think I had a Godwin Evans team there too, but I definitely don't mind having both of them without the quarterback, especially this early on. You know, we one of the things Leone's research showed a lot too of like you got to avoid like the dead players, and having like if you guess wrong on the quarterback and you just torch this team, where it's like I know Chris Godwin and Evans are going to be playing in week 17 barring injury, so I have no problem building out other stacks but just having both the wide receivers. Although I guess I'm curious where the chat is, because I know I've seen some like Kyle Trask love on some of my Best Ball Breakfast. I'm of the belief that Baker is going to start and hold down that job, but do you guys have any leans on Baker versus Trask?
After the experience of watching Baker on the Carolina Panthers last year, anything is fucking possible. Like I would not put anything on the fact that he's starting the whole season. He couldn't do it in Carolina. The Bucks.
Did you watch him drop 50 on the Broncos though, Clay?
I mean,
yeah, I definitely don't.
Once upon a time.
That's where I start to just accept that I'm not like incredibly plugged into like super preseason who's going to get the starting job stuff, and I try to mostly just go based off information from other people. And so it's like, stuff like the Dalvin Cook trade rumors, I'm pretty happy to like, make a bet on that. But stuff like who's going to be the quarterback for the Bucks come start of the season, I'm happy to pass on that one.
I do really think you would it would need to be a 3 quarterback build, to take one of Baker or Trask, because you just can't sync a team with a 0 like that. A lot of quarterbacks kicking around here. Depending on what Randy does, I will grab my my stack with Tyreek Hill here. Looks like this ADP range too. All these guys are, and I'll leave Andy his Kirk Cousins.
What a guy.
Question here from DFC. Pete, do you think taking Bijan right now at 101 could be sharp and getting different way early on, especially how ADP is? So the reason I prefer doing this move later as the draft season progresses and ADP solidifies and you start to get the combos that repeat over and over and over again. That's when I think you kind of flipping the board and pairing Bijan with different guys could be sharp. So I think you have to ask yourself, like, if you're doing Bijan 101 and then you're looking at like Olave, Devonta Smith or something like that. Well, you can also start Bijan and Olave from like the back end of round 1 too. So it's like, what are you accomplishing there? So now we're talking about, okay, well, Devonta Smith is the unique piece. And so you have to ask yourself, is it worth giving up that much for the third round uniqueness? Right now, I would argue it's not, but when ADP really solidifies, I'm definitely more open to that.
Also, my take too is that, like, if we're saying this is the latest you're ever going to get him, and he's going to get pushed up hypothetically to a 4 or 5, I understand the argument that makes it less unique, but it is more logical at that point to take him.
Yeah.
101.
Are we just convinced that the Falcons' offense is going to be good enough that it matters?
I don't know. That's part of my thing. I'm with you, Andy. Feels gross.
Yeah. It's like,
also, you still have Cordell Patterson there. I mean, they still have other running backs.
I'm kind of, I've gotten pretty comfortable drafting Patterson super late, like as a last running back off the board for me, just in like the hopes that he ends up somewhere else, that he's like a cap casualty and ends up on some other team that needs a back who does what he does. Because it seems like he's going to be third behind, the 2 young guys that they have. But
I'm going to go ahead and take Dak Prescott, 20 picks past ADP. I have Pollard here. Yeah. Don't mind that there. And now I can.
Dak's been slipping a lot that I've seen in my drafts. I've seen him drop a lot.
Yeah, I'm not.
That whole quarterback range is a bit weird.
I mean, I know it's not like the sexiest passing offense to buy into right now, but I guess I don't really understand why he's dropping so much.
This guy Jimmy's is killing me out here.
You wanted Sharps?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to kind of just get a 4th running back and then really piss, but
you might have to start pissing now, brother.
Yeah, I'm going. Let's go 3 in a row.
This is a gross range for wide receivers we're entering. Once you enter,
I don't like this
Juju,
pick.
Jacoby.
I don't like it.
Oh no, Clay. No.
You like it?
Odell at 104. I hate it.
That's fair. I mean, I did it for the equity.
That's fair. Oh no, you do. You have Lamar, so it's less egregious.
I probably would have taken Rashad Bateman over Odell.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, you're not. That's completely fair.
Yeah,
it's completely fair.
To me, Odell feels like drafting Tiger Woods in like a golf tournament or something, where I feel like he just gets that name bump.
Damn. That's a fair analogy.
I'm like pretty out on him, but I think I'm also like a little bit biased personally.
So
you'll survive.
Flowers. I have Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. We'll take Odell.
Yeah.
Touchdown. Monster.
I mean, I think he's going to play. Like, I think he's going to play, and he can definitely score some touchdowns. I don't think it's like
if he gets touchdown equity.
Just to me, he's someone who I'd rather draft in like 2 rounds later.
Yeah, ideally, but you're not getting him 2 rounds later is a thing.
So that's what I mean. Like, I'd rather just not necessarily.
Not draft him. Yeah, fair. If I don't have Lamar, it's a non-starter. I'm like exiting him off the board. But it's not really a great reason to draft him either. So I'm struggling with Andrews a little bit as well. I don't know, man. I really liked Isaiah Likely. Still do really like him. And I think like he's a wonderful late round pick, even without Lamar. I'm going to buy into Lazard just being bankable for some upside weeks with, him being A-Rod's guy in New York.
And
Wilson to clear it out.
I was going to say maybe a chance Aaron Rodgers comes back to you, but
maybe.
Doesn't look
I'm
like
not counting on that. No, somebody's going to take him.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Lazard than Rodgers for this build in particular, where I need wide receivers.
Yeah.
I don't mind this pocket coming up though. Like not these rounds, but like once you get in like the 140 kind of range, there's some guys that I like a lot for upside scenarios in there.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put P. Ryan in the queue, but I want to survey the landscape here. Yeah, I don't see anything else I need to do here. I really like P. Ryan. I took him on my draft I just did on Splash Play.
I like him a lot as well.
It's hard for me to imagine at these prices where he like kills your lineup. You know, I just feel like there's so many outs to him, but whether upside or just giving you enough production to, you know, give you 5 to 6 usable weeks or whatever. And it could just be a total smash if Javonte is behind schedule.
Yeah, it pains me, man. Love Javonte.
I know. And I'm still like, trust me, I'm going to be scooping Javonte up as well. Their ADPs are starting. Where did Javonte go in this one? Pick 95. And so there's still about a 20 pick gap between those two.
I haven't taken him yet. I think he could slip if we get a bad report, any kind of bad reports in the offseason. People love P. Ryan.
And he
I like
gets
the Jamal Williams pick. Yeah. I do like the Jamal Williams pick.
Yeah, I need some running backs. It's about time.
Especially if Kamara gets suspended. I know
that's the one thing that with him that feels interesting is like there's a chance that
more upside than baked in.
Or maybe Kamara just has another bad night in Vegas and decides to beat the shit out of someone else. Who knows?
Never know.
Let's see here. Let's keep up with my theme of doubling up offenses, though, that I'm not stacking. So I'm done at quarterback. I got my Miami stack. I got a unconventional Dallas stack, but then I'll go 2 Jacksonville wide receivers, Kirk and Zay Jones, and 2 Tampa, Godwin and Evans. I think I would have just played the ADP game and just taken Jacoby Myers there, but just kind of using like the teammate correlation as a tiebreaker.
I like Jacoby a lot.
Yeah. As
a guy, just in general this year. But I think one of the things that's been interesting for me to see is seeing guys like Geno slip so far. I feel like this has been happening a bit regularly where I just haven't seen people going. Like, it's a bit surprising to me because I feel like their offense is like a really nice, clean stack. That's not like impossible to get, where you can get like Metcalf, Walker, Smith and Jigba and Lockett and Geno, and like it's not that hard.
Yeah, I am surprised. Yeah, so he finally goes off the board here at pick 130 to the Kenneth Walker team, which doesn't seem bad.
I feel like that tracks.
Let's take a peek at our teams here. So my team, for the audio listeners, I got Tua and Dak at quarterback. My running backs, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Samaje Perine. My wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Zay Jones. Tight end, Hawkinson. Then we got Clay here, 1361. Lamar Jackson, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Damian Pierce. Very fun running backs. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Kadarius. Did that already switch over? No, yeah, this is your team. Kadarius Toney, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, Alan Lazard, Sky Moore, and your tight end, Dallas Goedert. Nice value there. And then Andy's team here, where is it? Is Kirk Cousins, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin, George Pickens, Jordan Addison, Kirk Cousins with that double stack, Freiermuth, Jamal Williams, Antonio Gibson. Some nice teams brewing here.
Yeah, and so I think not too surprisingly, I'm going to try to grab Sam Howell and Kenny Pickett and go 3 QBs.
Your quarterback lusting is safe with me. I am done selecting quarterbacks this draft.
Yeah, I can't say that I've been seeing those two fly off the board during these drafts. If Jordan Love were to like really slip, I would take him as well over one of those guys. But I don't feel the need to like reach super far for him comparatively to just like kind of hanging. And so I can kind of try to value play these 3 quarterbacks and just get 2 of them.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I've also drafted Mac Jones a couple times, which feels a little gross, but I can't say that I hate it.
Yeah. I like Mac Jones this year. All those quarterbacks that no one likes, like Mac Jones,
I mean, you can
Sam
take him in like
Howell, Kenny
literally the
Pickett.
last round sometimes.
Yeah.
Love Sam Howell. I'm telling you, he's gonna be in the winning lineup. It's happening. Guy's too good, but like by the dip with the FUD that he's competing for this job against Jacoby Brissett. Ain't matter.
Hey, Karane's going to do the Lord's work for us this summer, just bagging on Sam Howell. He's going to get all of us cheap Sam Howell.
I love it, to be honest. I'm going to go buy him a beer at Grim.
Oh, man. I could go for one of those sours. I miss those.
Come through.
I'll have to. Yeah, well, I would like to do another New York City little quick trip this summer at some point.
What do I want to do here?
I took Mostert just because I had my Dolphins bet going, although there were some other running backs I like more than him.
I'm a bit of a Jalen Warren maxi. I don't know why.
I'm into him.
But
I like
it.
Well, and it makes sense.
Especially if you don't like Najee. Against Najee, too.
Yeah.
Well, you're building out. You have some really big or some really nice like team correlation bets right now. And you're stacking up those divisions too with Cleveland and Pittsburgh. It looks nice.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to be more intentional about not just getting like a quarterback and one skill position player stack, but instead like 3 or 4, which based on what Leone was writing about, it seems like the right way to go if you're trying to be optimal.
Yeah.
I really wanted you go make your pick. Yeah.
I was going to take Kendre Miller over Raheem Mostert. I think Kendre Miller is a much better pick, but I took Mostert since I have Miami, and then I just took. I was going to take Kendre if he fell, and now I'm going Gallup to get at least one pass catcher with Dak. What were you going to say, Clay?
I like that DJ Shark pick a lot. He's been falling a lot in drafts too. That was a little earlier than I've seen him go ahead of ADP, but he's a pretty nice click, especially if you draft Bryce Young. I mean, a little concerning that he's got this injury situation for the offseason, but he's the theoretical number 1 wide receiver. So that's a fun stack if you can get both him and Mingo together.
Yeah, there's a lot of backdoor stack options with Bryce.
No, Jimmy's is about to make me so tilted. Oh, he didn't do it. There you go. At least I can get this stack in. A little early. I was gonna go Shark there and then hope Mingo fell around the turn, but
I don't think it's early for like all these wide receivers who got like second round draft capital, the Rashee Rice, Jalen Reed, Mingo, Mims. I think all these guys are going to shoot up a couple rounds.
I agree.
Let's see. Are you done at quarterback, Clay? With Lamar and Bryce Young, you're probably done, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm not.
Wait, what is Wigglesworth doing here? Russell, Geno, Goff, and Jordan Love ripped 4 in a row.
It's an interesting strategy.
Seems excessive.
He is somewhat forcing my hand at my next pick here, just to be safe.
Yeah, you can't let Sam Howell go to the QB by 4 drafter.
Yeah.
I see Kenny Pickett in Andy's future.
That is one of the other nice things too, an underrated part about building out multiple stacks, where it's like, one, it gives you options. It's like it's not just you're relying on the one Sam Howell pick. It's like, oh no, I have the Kenny Pickett out, I have the Mac Jones out or whatever. And then on top of it, like you're still getting the correlation benefits on those other ones that you're not stacking.
Yeah, that's how I've been trying to think about it, where it's like, normally I like taking one quarterback who I feel really good about. Like Kirk Cousins isn't that, but in a situation like this, I feel okay about it. Because like I don't want to do this, and also like I wouldn't want to draft an earlier quarterback than Kirk, and so it's like the decision of, do I want to stack with Jefferson or not? But it does feel nice to kind of be able to like take the draft as it comes to you later on a little bit more, and basically like place a few slightly different ADP bets early on with players, and then later down the line just like try to get good value.
Right.
Pete, how do you feel about my Kansas City naked triple?
What do you got? Hang on. Let me see here. Oh, you got Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. Ooh, and Rashi. Okay, I wondered where Rashi Rice went. I was looking for him in the applet. I should have mentioned him right before my pick. I went Mims.
He's already my queue, to be fair.
Yeah. No, Clay, I trust you. This is a safe space.
I like it. That's fun. I mean, like one of those guys that's a fucking hit, right? Like,
I mean, we said the same thing last year.
I know, right? God damn it, it's so true. It's so fucking true.
Yeah.
Just cover your bases.
Yeah.
There he is. Kenny Pickett.
My guy. Now the decision is whether or not I'm definitely going to need 2 more tight ends. So having to make a bit of a decision there, but I think I'm going to hold off and do this.
Okay.
Oh, he's really building
for it. All right. So you are letting Sam Howell go, and if it's meant to be, he'll come back.
Yeah. Like all good things in life.
Yeah.
Pete, do you have a take on the Washington tight end situation? Because that's historically a position of value in fantasy. But I mean, I drafted like Logan Thomas as like my 18th round pick after Sam Howell in the 17th round the other day, and it felt absolutely gross. But what are you doing there? Like, we're not drafting John Bates, are we?
No, I'm not. I just think there are so many viable like late round tight ends with upside. I mean, even like look how buried like Laporta, McBride.
Yeah, Laporta's a great pick. He's a fun.
You mentioned Likely earlier, like Jake Ferguson as like there's so much there that even Jelani
I think even
Woods,
like Mike Gesicki could be a decent pick, a little bit higher up, but he's been slipping pretty far.
Shout out.
What are you thinking about the San Francisco quarterback situation?
I recuse myself from this. I mean,
don't do it. Oh,
like now you're getting
this guy is like Johnny in the spot. Like we say a damn word and he picks it. He's in here.
I do feel like this, like Lance on this team makes a ton of sense, right? Where you have Mahomes who you're going to use, and it's like, what kind of quarterback in this range could you actually sneak into your lineup that's going to score over Mahomes? Well, it's if Trey Lance hits, right? And he already took George Kittle. So I actually don't mind the thought process on that specific team. But yeah, I think it goes back to that thing we were kind of talking about with the Tampa Bay quarterbacks too, right? And just the thought of burning a spot right now. If you have an elite quarterback like Mahomes or Hurts, I think you can maybe take the risk. But man, I wouldn't want to be doing a 2 QB build with Lance otherwise.
No. Yeah, I'm almost more intrigued by Purdy than anything.
Yeah.
But it still is like, it feels very risky, but it feels like the type of thing where you do it in May when you literally know nothing. And it's like, what do I think the chances are that Purdy is the starting quarterback all season for the Niners? And like, if you can draft their starting quarterback in the 17th round, like that's not too bad. And so you probably want to have like a very particular boomer bust style build alongside of it or something, but I think it's interesting. It would definitely be a 3 quarterback team.
Right. Tyler says, like and subscribe to see hot best ball Pete Nips. Yes, I have famously promised Nips. No, but what I have famously promised is I am streaming all 150 of my drafts, and I'm doing a giveaway because I want to get my channel to 15,000 subscribers. I'm almost to 13K right now. And I've said if I get to 15K by the end of Hot Best Ball Summer, when the NFL season starts, I am going to give $1,500 out in prizes, $500 cash to 3 prizes. And the way you get entered into that is by leaving a comment on any of my draft streams. And you can rack up as many comments as possible on those separate streams. So if I end up doing, say, some 45 streams that encompass all my drafts, you could get up to 45 entries. That includes this show. So when the show is done, you can leave a comment and you will get an additional entry into that giveaway. Please subscribe, comment. I am going to take Jaden Reed. I fucking love Tyquan Thornton. I take him in basically every draft, but I'm going to stick to my rookie guns here. Take Jaden Reed at pick 188.
I like Thornton a lot as well. That's the other reason I've been taking Mac Jones a little bit is like it is so free. If you like, especially if you end up with Ramondre in like the 3rd round or whatever, You could literally draft Ramondre, and then in the last 3 rounds, draft Thornton, Gesicki, Mac Jones, or last 4 rounds maybe. And like, if you're doing a 4 quarterback team, like there's worse things to do, or 3 quarterback team, I should say.
Right.
There you go. Got him.
I got my guy. Yeah.
Got him.
That is the thing when you corner the market on Commanders. You know, Howell becomes even less of an attractive pick to the rest of the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I am in probably one more running back, one more tight end territory here. I'm gonna get I know they drafted that other rookie tight end Schoonmaker, but I still I'm gonna still take Jake Ferguson here as my stack with Dak.
Nice.
Pete, in your professional opinion, I've broken the cardinal rule if I did not draft enough wide receivers before round 10. I have 9 wide receivers. I'm a little thin to go 4 running backs. What is your thought here? I need to take one more tight end.
I'd probably take a tight end and a running back.
I mean, I like Likely for this build a lot.
Yeah, I'm taking Likely. That's who I got queued up here. And then it's just
I think you're one more running back in this build.
Okay. I'm gonna go Likely first. I got 2 running backs I am all right with.
Yeah, because there's a real chance like Spears is a 0 for most of the season, then you'd only have 3 other bodies.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I just gotta hope that some of these guys got the upside, you know, as wide receivers. We need Odell Beckham to get that bag back.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. As I, streaming 150 drafts also means mispronouncing 150 player names. I stand corrected. It's Schoonmaker. Kuhn, pronounced Schoonmaker. IO given a stamp of approval on these draft builds.
Thanks, IO. Appreciate it.
No Bindles. I did not take Pitts and Lance. I'm showing restraint these days. I'm at a 2-5-8-2 build. I'm loaded up on my Dolphins, my Jags, my Cowboys, and my Bucks. And I need to
I wanted 4.
Yeah, I'm at a build that I definitely have not done before in 3-5-7-3.
Same.
Ooh, yeah.
That's fun. 3-5-7-3 with 2 running backs in the top 25.
Wait, are you gonna go third tight end, you said?
Yeah, I don't feel great about my I feel like it's worth it in these positions where it's like I can draft like a running back who probably is never going to see the field.
Gus Edwards or Deuce Vaughn.
Joshua Kelly. I like Joshua Kelly as well. Just sort of take like Cordarrelle Patterson. But I think if I can take Logan Thomas and just, really corner the market on Commander football, I'm not confident enough in Freiermuth to be like doing a 2 quarterback or 2 tight end build, I think.
Yeah.
And that was what a lot of Leone's manifesto had to say about tight ends, seemingly was like, if you can pull off 2 tight ends, it's great, but you need to have good tight ends then, otherwise you're going to have some tough weeks.
I'm trying to chill out on my Chuba exposure, and then he slips again, so I'll take him as my final running back. I was going to do
I've been taking him a lot as well.
I don't know.
Almost took Deuce. I'll take Gus.
Sexy, I guess.
Yeah. Gus is still RB2 in Baltimore, right? That hasn't changed.
Should be.
I guess. I think Lamar Jackson's RB. Or no.
Well, he's RB1.
J.K. Dobbins is RB2. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably got to bounce right after this pick is over.
Yep. Let's say you can get your final picks in here, and then we'll land the plane. As I said, leave a comment on this stream to be entered into the Pete 150 giveaway March to 15K. If you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Get us there closer. Get these people their hard cash. Andy, anything else going on in your neck of the woods this week?
No, nothing too much else. We got another drop on Escher on Thursday, which will be fun. It's a cool one. Check it out. Nice. But otherwise, not too much.
What about you, Clay?
No, I'm now in the shitcoin streets, so we out here having fun.
What's your
splashing around
shitcoin
a
of
little
choice
bit.
these days?
Pepe and Turbo. I think
Okay.
Turbo is
Let's
kind
go.
of fun. Yeah, cool.
There
Fun
you
Twitter
go.
thread. So, I'm ready to light the
Yeah.
money on fire, but I'm ready for the roller coaster. I just couldn't stay on the sidelines again. I was like, nah, man, this is gonna be like Bored Ape, like early arc vibes where I was like, I nah waved it after being offline for a weekend. I was like, I ain't doing that again. So if it goes to 0, so be it.
Fair enough.
But let's go retire.
Love it. I
right.
assume I'll be back drafting another BBM team on ship chasing tomorrow night. I'll be 7 down through a few days. I feel like I'm on a pretty good pace to start. We will be back here as usual every single Tuesday at 4:30. Maybe we can get I don't know what Jack has been up to, probably busy with NBA stuff. Jennings, I know, wanted to swing by today. Didn't quite work out, but we'll get the gang back together. Plenty more drafting. Enjoy your Underdog Sweats night. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy your BBM4 draft